Why are they censoring me? That's all. All I want to do is ask some questions. I don't see why that's a big problem for me to ask questions. All right? And that's a lie. That is a lie, because I do see why that's a big problem for me to ask questions. What I don't understand is why is it... What I don't understand is why is it that you don't see that that's a problem, that I can't ask questions? Why is it there are so many people out there that are telling me that I shouldn't ask questions? I can't believe that I'm living in this twilight zone right now, okay? Now, I was voted in on Saturday night as a consultant to the convention, okay, because I had some good ideas. They wanted to hear what I had to say. They were going to set up a whiteboard for me upstairs, okay? I said, look, I could, you know, if I could draw pictures, all right, because I'm a picture person, if I could draw pictures, I could explain this to you, and you'll understand it, okay? If you give me a whiteboard anywhere, I'll go anywhere in the U.S. right now. This is my commitment. You get a room full of 100 people, all right, I'll go anywhere in the U.S. right now. That's my commitment to America right now. I will travel the country right now and show people how to do this, all right? At least what I know, at least what I think I know. How's that? All right? And you know, just the question and answer, and I'll learn more and you learn more. I'll bang my head against the wall, all right? And it'll either go through it or I'll split my head open. But listen, okay, I can be your tool, all right, YouTube? I can be your tool, and we can get through this whole thing, the whole corporate matrix, all right? We can do it. All right? I just talked to a cop for probably about, I don't know, 15 minutes or so, maybe 20 minutes in the gas station there. You know, I try to talk to cops all the time, and it's not scary. When you go there and you're talking and you start talking to them, okay? And I'm their authority, so I know that, so I'm not afraid anymore. So I do try to talk to them, and I try to educate them, and I make them understand. At least I try to make them understand. And I had this one cop, he just would not... I'm trying to tell him the difference between the word of and the word for. And he's like, oh, it's just a word. It ain't nothing. And you say of, like, how many times a day do you say the word of, okay? Please get yourself a Black's Law dictionary and look up that word. And you got to understand, you are subservient to whatever you're saying of. You're subservient to. Okay? Now, if you're saying Constitution, if you like the Constitution of the United States of America, okay, you're liking a piece of paper. That's all it is. It's a piece of paper. All right? It's a legal document. It was a transparency, basically, of the old Constitution that said, hey, if we walk all over this one, we're not actually breaking any laws. All right? How did they trick you into this stuff? How easy is it? You take, okay, whatever your name is, John Smith, okay? I take your name, John Smith, I write it in all capital letters, then I take that document, I incorporate it, I never tell you, all right? And all the lawyers, all the prosecutors and judges probably know this stuff. They have to, because they have to create the contract. And that's how you create the contract. They simply get you to think you're the piece of paper. That's all it is, all right? You don't even have to go to court anymore. You don't have to go to court. I'm blowing off my court date. You don't even have to go to court anymore. I'm not the piece of paper. That's not me. They can't touch me. All right? You can touch me physically. You can do something under protest and duress. All right? Now that's UCC 1308. All right, Freeman? All right? They changed the stuff around, and we got to keep going around and chasing it. As soon as we find the stuff, they go and change it again. All right, so they might probably change that pretty soon too. But we got to educate each other, and then eventually we'll just jump. You know what I mean? Eventually we'll just... That game needs to go away. Because I'm tired of playing it. And they're playing it right now down here at the Continental Congress, 2009. It is right now Thursday, 2:34 a.m. And I'm trying to plead with these people to just, you know, hear me out. I have some very important information, and I have some questions that they probably are going to want the answers to. Look, evil can't do its evil in the darkness. Okay, that's why people censored. That's why people get censored. Why is this is a public event? It's open to the public. It's advertised that way on givemeliberty.org. Okay, now Pheasant Run ejected me, and there's nothing. They won't even give me a piece of paper that says Pheasant Run on it, and then you're ejected because they don't want anything to be on the record. Okay, because I can sue that place for like millions of dollars if I just get a piece of paper from them. Okay, so I want a document. Somebody give me a document that I got, that they censored the independent press from a public event. Not to mention, okay, this happened in 1775. They, issued their grievances. They redressed their grievances to the king, and how that worked out. We had a war. And they came back in 1812, and anyway, we'll move along, all right? But now we're to this thing. This is only the second time this has happened in 230 years. Now, think about how much that document's worth to givemeliberty.org. Millions, billions. Come on, money. It's about money, all right? So that's what it's about, all right? Money, elite, I don't know. But I know it's about money, and I know it's fraudulent, and I think we can do something really awesome instead. So please get with me and just hear me out and just hear my questions, because I think they're going to be a lot of your questions. Okay? I wish that I had been involved in the delegate process, but you know what? I don't know if I would have been chosen, if you know what I mean. Okay? And again, I was elected as a consultant to the convention, so that's what I want to do. I want to consult, all right? They heard me out, all right? These people already heard me out. There was about 25 of them there, all right? And they were going around, what do we do, what do we do? And I had a lot of good suggestions, and then, bam, they're like, should we even be talking to this guy? He's just from the press, And they said, well, we can vote him in as a consultant, and that's what he did. That's what they did. All right. Schaefer Cox was leading. There was a couple of the other guys. The people that I got on film basically were the ones that hung out with me. We talked for about 6 or 7. I don't know. Actually, I don't know, 15 minutes. A couple guys, I met up with them later, and we hung out and had a beer, two total beers that night. Not that I can drink 12 if I want, but I only had 2. Okay, I'm not a drinker anyway. So anyway. Please get with me and hear me out. Just like you want your government to hear you out. Thanks.